Good morning, viewers. Welcome to Faith Life TV, bringing Christ to your homes. We are glad to come your way once again. This morning, it's time with the Reverend. This program is brought to you by T. Franca Ventures, dealers in all kinds of wood for construction. You can contact them on 020-222-990. Tempting Taste. They cater for your weddings, birthdays, and parties. You can contact them on 02455 You Bond Hair Clinic for all your wigs and weave-ons. You can contact them on 054-5814-890. Miraford Constructions Limited for all your building designs and consultancy. You can contact them on 054-2010-984. Jangos Arts and Signs for your artistic works and designs, sign, post, and t-shirts. 020-9054-733. Stephen's Gardens for your fumigation, mowing, and cleaning services. You can contact them on 024-3165-747. Smart Consult for all your business development, consultancy, and delivery. You can contact them on 0247536046. Goodwill Express Consult. Their services include business financing, advisory, training, and marketing. You can contact them on 0244508107. Reverend, once again, you're welcome.
Thank you.
This morning, we are interviewing Reverend SamuelTeiko Tagoe, the head pastor of Dispensational Gospel Mission Faith-Life-Temple, Pesimenti. Once again, Reverend, you're welcome. I heard today is your birthday. I would like to use that opportunity to wish you a glorious, happy birthday. May the good Lord bless you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for your good wishes.
You're welcome. Reverend, today we would like to get very up close with you, get to know the man behind the name. A lot of people have heard Reverend SamuelTeiko Tagoe. We would like to know who the man is. So, who is Reverend SamuelTeiko Tagoe? Tell us something about yourself.
Very interesting question. Thank you for this opportunity, and greetings to the viewers here and afar. Coming to your question, it's a deep one, but like any other human being, we have a beginning. My name is SamuelTeiko Tagoe, as you rightly put, born of a grandfather and a hunter mother. Born on the 14th day of March 1962 at Nkotompo, to be precise, in Second Western Region. Well, I schooled in my primary in a village called Abrai on the Axim Highway stretch. From class 1 to Form 1 and came back to secondary and continued my education, my medical education in the Old Hospital Experimental School. Well, so many things happen on the line. Sometimes we don't want to blow the ears of people. Eventually, I didn't finish the Form 4 in Old Hospital. I came to finish Form 4 in Jane Middle School. And from there, by the grace of God, I was able to enter the second cycle in St. John's Secondary School. But along the line, something happened. I have to withdraw from the school and travel. Well, to some people, it was an act of truancy. But to the family, it was a matter of need. It was so important for me then to seek for greener pasture somewhere. And in my mind, I was going to Nigeria to fly abroad. But the wishes of men are not the plans of God. I went there actually in Nigeria. I entered Nigeria, Lagos State in the 15th day of January 1980. Life was not easy. Often you sit back, and if you like to put it in a milder way, you weep over life, how life has been very unfair. To some people, it was a hard luck, but on hindsight now, I think all things work together for good has been the slogan now for me, because God allowed me to go through those things just to prepare me. Just as David said, "Oh God, you have made the heavens to walk over my head that you may bless me." So let me put that one aside. And then from there, by the grace of God, I tried to hustle to Europe when the Nigerian expatriation came, and it was quite difficult for me then. I don't know what to do to continue education, to travel, or to sit down and work. But as God will have it, I think my late uncle, came to me one dawn and spoke to me that as the family is now, I'm the eye of my mother's children and very important personality in the family. Young as I was, they have their hopes in me. I don't know actually what God revealed to me. He came to me and spoke to me politely and told me to find a work to do, and that will help me to enter into railway. So 1st March 1985, I was employed at the railway services. I had wanted to go to the engineering department because I still have my journey to Europe at the back of my mind. I would want to go to the ship and work as whatever class of engineering, but it couldn't happen. I was taken to the carpentry shop. Fortunately, carpentry was the work in my family, so it was not difficult for me to continue there. But at this time too, by 1985, before I entered into railway, we have also come from Nigeria with the zeal for the work of God. So much as I was trying to cope with social life, I didn't put away my spiritual life. I was a very serious person. Young among the pioneers who started this ministry, I was recognized as one of the senior men. It's so amazing. At this time, I sat down to see the handwork of God was from the beginning. So I was at a business there, and adding it to the work of God was not easy. But by and large, we were able to at least have a breakthrough. Some people look me from far and say I was making it, but within I know I was suffering because the dependency on me was so huge. My late wife's family and my own family was a big load. So no matter what, how hard I work, I still feel the pinch of leaving the school. But God was on my side. I had favor at the work side. I went through what does it call? MBTI. Thank you. I did grade 1 and grade 2 in carpentry, and I was given junior foreman at the work site. So I became a full carpenter in the carpentry shop. At the same time, the ministry was going along. I was part of the members that formed the church in Teiko-Tagoe. So I was ordained a deacon in 1985, September to be precise. We started the church from Kwekuma. And from Kwekuma, we moved to Sekendi, the late Reverend Texan's in-laws parlor. And later we moved to Dankasim Primary School. Then often we will have our church services. When we have a joint service, we go to the Wesleyan Hall and do services. Then by 1987, we moved to the Railway Club, where the ministry actually had its firm grips to move on. So later part of 1987, when some of the pastors have moved to Nigeria to further their education on the ministry, they went to Bible school. We were left behind to take care. I and some few pastors. Then the news came to us that Venice was there for us to go and look at it. We went and have a view. It was actually a bizarre place to do service, because then they have turned the place to something that I cannot say in the public. But by the grace of God, we were encouraged enough to go there. Courageously, we went and then seek for the place, and it was given to us with a massive work. We came, we mobilized the church members, and we went there to clean the place and started serving God over there from 1987, latter part of the year. So we went on until these pastors returned, and we have taken decision to decentralize the church so that the church can grow. We sent Reverend Pastor Johnson then to Pesiminton, and I joined Pastor Tichi to Isaman. By then, the church has taken the today's head of ministry, Reverend Ansa Ebenezer, to is scheduled to start with our today's. Then he was a member, but today is a pastor, Pastor Samuel Amwa. So by the grace of God, things were going on. When we decentralized, it was some sort of challenge, but as God will have it today, we can say that it was a good decision we took. And by 1992, I was ordained an evangelist. By 1995, I was sent to come and take the Pesimintum Assembly, which is today Faith Life Ministry. We have gone through the mill, but briefly enough today, we can say, God, we thank you for where you have brought us. We know there's so much space before us. And with the strength of God, I think the sky will be the limit. So, by and large, by 1992, when I was ordained evangelist, I hung out and do the work of God as I will have it. But before then, 91, I've went to the Bible school at Disciples Academy, came home from some other courses, at least to better my lot. And gracefully, I will not boast of big certificates, but I have some. I have a lot of them for the gospel work. I've not done bad at all. And as it stands today, I've been ordained a Reverend Minister since 2009, and I've been part of the head of the ministry as a NEC member, a financial secretary to be precise. Today, we thank God, it's my birthday, and I thank God for taking me through the thick and thin of life. If I say it has been easy, I will be a liar. Sometimes you think it is the end of the road, and all of a sudden you see God's hand opening new doors, some favors and some graces, some hard work has brought us to where I am. So this is SamuelTeiko Tagoe for you.
You have a very long story to share, Reverend. Reverend, how long have you been in active ministry?
Yes, I'm 60 years and I've been active in ministry for 30 years.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Yes, from 1992 to 2022 is exactly. So I'm not just celebrating my 60th birthday, but I'm also celebrating 30 years in ministry.
Well, you've done well. Reverend, before you came to Kwesi meeting, there was an uproar in the church concerning one pastor, and you were brought to Kwesi meeting. I would like to find out, when that happened, how did you handle it and how did it affect your ministry?
So it was 1994 when the news came to us that Reverend Johnson, then Pastor Johnson, wanted to go his own way. He's leaving the ministry. But before, we have been having rumors of some of unpleasant steps he has taken. We don't want to bring this one to the public because God has a way of doing things for himself. So, by the middle of 1995, the decision has already been made. He has taken off his own ministry and has left the ministry that was given to him in Kwesi meeting, almost taking all the members away. And by the grace of God, God left a ransom to himself. And in the person of the families of Dakun and some few sisters, some now they are not in the ministry. I've even forgotten some of their names. And I have to come down here because I was very popular with the Kwesi meeting assembly members, because when I was in the sermon, voluntarily I come time and time to help Pastor Johnson. And I was very familiar with some of the members and the terrain. So one Reverend Atabuaten, who is now the head pastor of the Finger of God ministry, came, was a very close friend to Reverend Teacher and myself, came and told us that we shouldn't allow the ministry to die in Kwesi meeting, and that they have had similar experience in UK, to be precise, London. So they took somebody there, and by the grace of God, the church has restarted and is doing well, so we should. So we had a meeting and we agreed that will come. So there's a man church, came and did a crusade, and we started at a classroom at King's School. So that is where we actually started. And by 2002, we moved from King's School to. No, let me take it to. Let me put the story in perspective. By 98, we went to Teiko-Tagoe Market Circle, and something happened very unpleasant. Another pastor was taking a ministry there, which I don't want to mention his name. He went and created nuisance with noise, and we were told nobody should worship there again, so we came back to King's School. And so we formed an association, and some of these pastors who have their interest in everything to make money out of it, I became a nuisance to them, because I wouldn't want anybody to use the gospel to make money for himself. So when we go to meeting, it is always a sort of, I don't want to call it a fight or a quarrel, some of them. So I was so much looking for a place to move from the classroom. And by the grace of God, we had a brother called Dadzie, who was a carpentry shop at where now the man Bagas is situated. He gave us a place to worship. By then, we have bought a place for worship in Aseke, where I'm now staying, for church building. But later, when they told us they won't give us a permit, because some people have already come to inform that they wouldn't allow the church to be there because it's a residential place. So Mr. Dadzie was to sell this place where we worship at the Mamba gas station for me, for residence. So in consultation with the church leaders, we exchanged. So I will build my house there, and we take the church to where the gas station is. Came there, we had a court litigation. By the grace of God, the case came to our favor. The injunction of developing the place was removed. We were able to at least raise some sort of structure for ourselves doing. Well, we had the challenge of the fitters and the mechanics over there. But later on, one day we came around 2010. We found out that the house has been marked to be pulled down. It was later that we found out that the person who sold the land to us collaborated with the landlords to sell the place for a bigger money. So we went to them with all seriousness, and one of the leaders of the family was afraid of God's church, impressed on them that they should give us a place where we are today. Probably they thought we would, as a small church as we were, wouldn't be able to develop the place, but I was more determined that they had known. So, by the grace of God, by 4 years' time, we were able to put the structure and started developing it. So that has been the story of the short question you asked. It's a long one. The church has a big history, a suffering one at that, but always the hand of God has been with us, and God has favored us greatly. By the grace of God, we are doing well.
Indeed, God has favored us. Reverend, I've had the opportunity of being under you, learning from you, and I would say that I've learned a lot. It's been very insightful. There is this, I don't know whether I should say, I would like to know your take on that.
Well, thank God that you have been with me. What do you think?
Personally, I would say that you're a very disciplined man. And if someone isn't disciplined, the person can't obviously work with you. And you always seek to do the right thing. So, my personal experience is if you're not ready to do the right thing and be disciplined, I can't work with you.
Okay, that's a great impression anyway. But it is not true that I'm a hard person. I'm not. I've never had anything cheap in my life, so I don't believe in cheap life. I don't believe in shortcuts. I believe in going through the mill. And the generation today doesn't want to do that. Some of my friends, I have to leave them behind. I don't say they leave me behind, I leave them behind because if I see that you are not that type that has discipline and you don't have integrity, it will be very difficult for me to move with you. Probably that is my harder side that people say, but for me, I'm not a hard person. I'm easygoing person. I like to take things simple. I want to give people opportunity to develop. I want to give people opportunity to come up with their own ideas. I believe in having confidence in people. I believe in allowing people to have their own say in issues, probably nasty about you. But thank God, after having personal relationship or encounter with people, they tend to come and tell me, we didn't know you are such a sweet person. Such a person said this thing about you. But I wouldn't bother to worry myself going to ask, why did you say that? It's also perception anyway. I'm not on obligation to please anybody. If I don't please God, I'm in trouble. And sometimes trying to please God displeases other people. So that is their perception. I'm not a hard person.
And Reverend, through your ministry, have you had any thoughts of quitting or any regrets?
No, with God, no. But with the ministry, often. And you ask me why, I tell you what. Some people do not like the way you act. Some people do not like the way you conduct yourself. But they used to forget that we are created differently, we do different things, we have different understanding. But one thing that has kept me going in this ministry is that God has not told me to go anywhere. And I don't want to take a step when God has not directed me. I enjoy this ministry so much. I can tell you for a fact that all the members in Ghana, including everybody, now as a son, I'm the oldest member of this ministry. And one day before, many of them came to meet me. Some came before me as leaders. I served them with no qualms at all. But you know, like the Rastaman will say, Rastaman take one step and people's eye are red. I do things for God to bless me. I work hard for God to bless me, and people do not like people's progress. That is their problem. I've never regretted following God. I've never regretted being in this ministry. But human as I am, sometimes when I feel the pinch of bitterness, I wish I could go. But God says you are not going anywhere. So I'm here. I will be here too.
Okay, Reverend. As human as we are, sometimes we get depressed. Even being alone, you get depressed on your own, and you handling a whole ministry. How do you deal with your depression? Because when everyone has an issue, they go to the pastor. But when the pastor has an issue, who does he go to?
The pastor goes to God. That is the essence of being in the ministry. You cannot always be happy, but you must not always be sad. In your personal life as an individual, there is a tendency to be depressed when things are not going on well. That is why the scriptures are there. That is why other people have written books for you to read. That is why the scriptures itself is there. Yes, many times you go through depression, sometimes severe ones, both in personal lives and ministry. Because some people want to have their own way and you wouldn't allow them. And you hear people saying things that has never even happened before. Sometimes you are human being, you are hate. But you heal yourself and get along with it because no human being is perfect. I'm not perfect either. I'm not saying I've done everything perfect for people to clap for me. I'm like a soldier. I do things that way just to get myself going. And some people are lazy and they wouldn't want it, so they will say things that will depress you. Unfortunately, the people you help most with your own money, let me put it in quote, money, support them to stand on their feet, they will be the people to turn against you. Some think that they have more share in your pocket than you have given to them. So that's nasty. It's human. Somebody asked me at Bible school one time, what has been your greatest hit? And I told him my greatest hit is when people do not understand me. It really hurt me. And I think I have serious deficiency. That is to say that when I speak to you, I talk to you, I give you counsel on an issue and you don't listen. And you go and have problem and come back to me. That is why I'm really hurt.
Reverend, how do you balance ministry life with your family life?
Discipline. 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 You must know you have a wife to take care of. You must know you have children. You must know you have a extended family who will likely look up to you physically. You must know you have a church, a mandate that God has given to you to take care of, so you discipline yourself. I'm not somebody who wants to depend on the church for everything. So I do a lot for myself. But when it is time for the gospel work, the kingdom work, I don't joke with it. I sit down and plan through the day for my life. So you can't just have me when you want to have me. You have me when I'm available for you. If I'm not available, I'll politely tell you it's not going to be. You may be hurt, but that is your cup of tea. Discipline, discipline, and discipline.
Reverend, when did you realize that you've been called into ministry?
That one. All right, I will tell you this. Somewhere in 1990, I had two friends. I would not want to name them, their names. Not for any bad purposes, but for my own good reason. In different times, they came and told me that they think God has called me and I must leave everything I'm doing and follow. By then, I am confused of what to do. I love to work for God, but I'm suffering economically. I wanted to travel. So by the close of 1990, I told myself that if I'm not able to travel by 91, I will cease that plan of traveling. I will concentrate living here in Ghana. And part of that plan was that then I will consider if I'm actually called by God. So that is it. By 1992, the first quarter of the year, I decided to go to the Bible school because 91 has passed and I was not able to travel. I took my passport and hid it somewhere. It was a personal decision. I never told anybody. I think sometimes I surprise people by my way of doing things. They never knew I had such a big brain to do such things. I don't tell my story to people when I have not been able to accomplish it. I hide them. So I just came out and said I'll go to Bible school. And God confirmed me through dreams. I saw in a dream more than 2-3 times that I've been given appointment by the late Rollins. He was then the head of state or whatever you call him. And personally, I had my own observations about him. I respect him as the leader of the nation. But because of what happened to me when I came home in 1981 with some money to come and do my passport, he seized that money and I was here until May 18, 1982 when I went back to Nigeria and had my work dismissed. I had my own reservations about him for being a leader. So I prayed to God, Rollins an appointment me with which certificate for political appointment. But then I prayed and God told me, God places people in places. So as the head of the country, God is the head of the ministry. So he has given me an appointment. Then Reverend from Pong came from Accra to confirm me that I should plan to come to ministry. I should plan to come to ministry. So putting them all together, I decided to take a bite. And here I am today. It was not an easy way, but I have to obey God. With some temperament, I never thought I could be a good pastor. As people are saying I am today. It has all been the grace of God. So I give glory to God.
Okay, Reverend, what has been your greatest joy, or what is your greatest joy in the ministry?
When I look at you here, when I look at people who the devil would have destroyed, and by the grace of God through my ministry, they are alive in the gospel. That is my joy. The second one is God didn't allow me to travel so that my siblings can know Christ. Whether they are weak or strong, that is the problem of somebody. But God has found them. He will work on them. My greatest joy is not in a car, it's not in a building. It's not in the church structure here, it's in the people. When I see people praising God, it's gives me all the joy that I need.
Okay, Reverend, when we started the interview earlier, you were saying that you've been in active ministry for 30 years.
Yes.
We know of other pastors that have been in the ministry as well, and one way or the other, along the way, they fell. What has been your secret of not falling like others?
Grace. And I'm not a covetous person. This gift God has given to me, I'm so much happy. I always rejoice in the progress of somebody. And I think God has just given me that grace. Resilient. Going through pain. Some people never want to enjoy pain. But pain must be enjoyed. It's not a pleasant thing, but at the end of it, you see that God has just opened your eyes, giving you the experience that you may not have from classroom. And thank God for people around me. My co-pastors around me has been a support. That is dispensational for you. The family bond of the pastors. We have our individual sort of understandings on issues. But by and large, we all agree to the kingdom work. So we put our differences and work together. So this has been, it is not easy to stand alone as a pastor. Sometimes you may fall. But now, as family and united as we are, you can fall on anybody's help at any time. So that has also been the secret. And if I want to be very honest, people in the church, some of them has also been supportive. You call them, they come. You can delegate them to do some things for you. Often when they see that you are discouraged, they encourage you. So people are very important in everybody's life. So if you have something in your hand, you don't push people off your life. They may hurt you, but you still need them. They are necessary evil. So that has been the secret. God, grace, hard work, people in the church, colleague ministers in this ministry. The secret.
Okay. What is a typical relaxing day for you?
Typical relaxing day. I want to be fair to you. I don't have. I decide to take a day when I feel so tired. But I'm like the bulldozer, I'm always working. Either working for the ministry, somewhere in the home, or doing something for myself. I love to do business, even though I don't hawk around with things. But I use some of my time to do something that is profitable to me. So people look at me with some sort of interest. How would you do that? And I said I would do it because it fits me. If I have something to feed my life and to help other people, I will do it. I'm not that type that will put on coat and shirt and sit in the office and enjoy the air condition as I'm enjoying now. No. Probably I'm just a ghetto boy somewhere. God has brought me, so I don't feel comfortable taking a long sleep. No, I even don't know how to sleep. I sleep around 11 o'clock or 11:30 or 12 o'clock. By 3 o'clock, my eyes are open wide. So I wake up. I don't like studying before sleeping, but I love to sleep and wake up and study. So from 3 o'clock, I'll be, whatever I want to write, I'll be writing. Whatever I want to read, I'll be reading. When I feel tired in the afternoon, I'll just sit down and doze off. I don't know whether I really know how to enjoy life, but that is life for you. If I want to be happy, I decide to be happy. If I want to be calm, I decide to be calm. If I want to take a rest, I decide to take a rest, but I'm always working.
Okay, Reverend, as a man, do you have any sporting activity that you enjoy, whether football?
So much of them. Okay. Men's martial art, boxing, MMA, and oftentimes tennis. Yes, football sometimes, but when I sit down alone watching football, then you know the next 5 minutes I'll be sleeping if nobody is around. So my children will just come and say, look at him. He wouldn't allow us to watch TV and he's sleeping. I would just laugh and then have some sort of dozing around. But I like sport. I like mixed martial art. I like boxing. Those days I can sit down and watch boxing for a long time, but these days I've put discipline on that. I don't want to sit on TV more than 10 o'clock. No, whatever. By 10, I will switch it off. Even if I'm not sleeping, I will just relax. Because these things, they are thieves of time. Yes. When you give them so much attention, it weakens you to do anything for yourself. But if I have boxing today, I'll watch it. Even right in the studio, I'll watch it. I want to talk about myself.
Okay.
I married 1st December 1985. Had my wedding ceremony at the Sunday Support Church. Though it is DGM organized program, but we didn't have a place of worship. So that is what we did. I want to come to the public with this issue. Sometimes people speak what they don't understand. I initially didn't want to do wedding because my financial strength then was that weak. But I have already known this lady who is now late, my first wife, Elizabeth Teiko-Tagoe to be precise. I came from Nigeria in 1981 and found him around our family house. And I think once I spotted it, I started having some chemicals running through my brain. After a long conversation, we agreed to move on, long as we were. So when we came back home fully from Nigeria, she followed me to the church. I would say she was part of the members who started the church with. So we parted company for this, whatever immoral life I can 100% say to the public. Until 7th June 1985, I had everything paid on her head as a married person. But then there was this Nana Nkanche who came to secondate her credit that every woman must be put through this, what do we call it? Puberty rights. For us, young as we were with the dynamics in the faith, we were not going to batch to that. So we suspended coming together to stay until something is done, so that these Ahimfi people troubling DGM church members. So we went to the court somewhere October, and when we returned from court, as a married person, we had some, and unfortunately, because we have kept ourselves apart, she got pregnant. So we decided that we wouldn't want these people to chase after us, so we'll do something in the church to make a cover-up that we are not going to back to the traditional. So by the time we're having, that is, we're supposed to have had a marriage ceremony 1st October. It delayed 2 months. By the later, Pastor Quartin said he has some things to do. So 1st December 1985, which is her birthday too, they had that ceremony. So she was actually pregnant before. She didn't wear white garment, she wore blue garment. Then I used to hear some members say that yes, she was pregnant, but she was my full wife. I've performed the diary, I've gone to the court, the certificates are still there with me. I've not told them. They are still with me. So, by the grace of God, we had 2 children, Eunice and Samuel, doing very well until somewhere in December, I think 24th, 2005, she was struck with a disease, a strange disease. We struggled to cope up until 14th April in 2008, she died. That was the most difficult time of my entire life, both ministry and social life. Because it was something strange I couldn't believe could happen to a Christian. I don't know what sort of prayer to pray. All the pastors joined me. Pastors from DGM, pastors from other places. Many sort of all nights. Some fasting and prayers. Went through all the good hospitals and ended up in Kolebu. So I think somewhere 1st April, I went to Kolebu and I was called to a hall. About 14 or 15 doctors, some senior nurses. They were 22 in all. I made a number 23. They started psyching me about the condition of my wife, that she was not responding to treatment, and the treatment is very expensive, so they want to cut it and then give me a quite cheaper one, but not a bad one. So I knew the story was over. So I came home and took Mrs. Lisbeth to Dr. Tavia. I stole something from Kolebu and presented to him to make an inquiry for me. He just went and brought up a big book, went through and told me that this is the condition of my wife and that she was not going to survive. So I started psyching myself on what to do. So even before my wife died, I've decided that I will not stay long because I've gone through pain for 2 years, 4 months. So when it's 1 year, I'll marry. And this became a brouhaha. People think that I do things anyhow. No, I plan my life. Thank God, whatever happens, I'm married to Francisca now. From 7th June. And this one is 6th June. We had our wedding. And God has been so graceful to me. That young lady I'll call is indeed a replacement of my late wife. And probably with some blessing. And one of the joyous time in my life is to see these 2 children God gave to me through Francisca. Because I never thought I would have children again. And when she came in, God has gracefully rewarded me with 2 children. So today I'm not talking to you. I'm not advising people on their marriage. But what I will say from this end is that marriage is a work to be done. You work on your husband if you have one. You work on your wife if you have one, because they are not angels, they are humans. They have all the errors that you can think of. Surprises may come, but you can also surprise them by being patient and understanding to them. When God sees that you love your wife, you love your husband, He will intervene. He will bring things to change things to be better. The devil has never had anything good for us. Nobody should think that when you have a problem in your marriage, it is the plan of God. It is never the plan of God. But sometimes you are not wise. I want people to be wise. If God says that a faithful man is a gift to the woman, what does it say about the woman? If any man finds a woman, he has found a good thing from God. It's a favor. So a good gift and a favor must be worked out so that you see the right purpose of God in your marriage. I heard somebody in the social media trying to express his knowledge and understanding of marriage, that marriage is not based on love. You must find a woman who comes into your life to bring fulfillment. How can that be possible without love? Love is the foundation of every good thing. If you don't have love, you can't marry. You don't have to bring a woman or a man into your life just to have your fulfillment. It starts with love, and then you grow to that level. Yes, I believe that every woman who comes into your life must have a purpose to serve some interest. Just as the man goes into a woman's life to fill some purpose, to bring some interest. But the most important thing is love, because it is love that is taking us to him. I'm done.
Okay, so back to wrapping up. What advice do you have for the youth that want to get into ministry? Because myself being a youth, I know we don't have that interest because we see so many challenges surrounding pastors and it's not enticing enough. So what advice would you give?
Enticing. Jesus didn't come to this world to have enticing ministry. He came to have a suffering ministry. But he has a purpose of going to enjoy at the end of the day. Now, at the mention of his name, every knee bows and every tongue confesses that he is Lord. So you can't imagine having the fruit without even planting or sowing anything. It's not possible. So now the issue is in two phases. Those who are in a bigger ministry, so-called, who see pastors riding big cars, they are running into ministry because they are enticed by the goodies of what they see from there. Listen, they are not actually going there for ministry, where they are going there to make money. And that is the problem the church has today. And those hanging around us, they think that our pay is nothing to write home, and they wouldn't go and take their degrees, masters and PhD and come to ministry. Who told you God is not able to reward you? He that goes into ministry has found a good work. So God is able to pay you with your PhD certificate if you are actually called. I would rather encourage people not to be enticed to ministry because of the luxuries and the money around it, but they should go there because God has called them. For me, I never thought I could have a bicycle. But I'm not talking of one car now. I don't want to be proud. For pride is not my friend. But if I want to buy a car for myself now, I can buy a car for myself, because when God blesses you, everything is possible. You look at this ministry, it's not a poor ministry. Only we manage things sometimes poorly, sometimes, not all the time. Because we have done so well for this ministry by the grace of God. Looking at it from how we started, the kind of education and knowledge that those founders had, and going through the mill to come to this level, I would say they have done extremely well, every one of us. Yes, the challenges are there. Even the big ministries have their own challenges too. But I would rather encourage people who are in this, the young ones in this ministry, to take up the challenge, because we have laid the foundation for them to come and build upon. Now, if somebody comes to Kwesimintim, he may try to expand the building if he has the people inside. Then the work will not be difficult. Now, somebody comes here as a pastor in this side. We have such a big, beautiful studio. We have an office. You have a church building to continue. But I started from the school classroom. I didn't start with the pay. When I was to be given something for an allowance, they started with me 70 cedis. Not the today 70 cedis, that time. It was nothing. When I was to retire from railway to come and take this business, I didn't have 1 cedi at the bank. 1 cedi. I resigned and then took this ministry. By the time I realized after 6 months, I've had that time 5,000 at the bank. Not from the ministry, but from open doors. And I knew that God was faithful, so I strengthened myself to continue. And now today I can say that I'm blessed. I don't know how people count blessing. I'm alive. To see a late wife gone and a new wife come in, to see me transition from classroom to the gas place where it has been broken down and to today this place. Even if we are to do expansion work here, God will give us the grace to do it. But I don't believe in building a huge building with small people. So we want to develop the human, we want to develop our norms, and whatever God says we will do, I think we'll be able to do it. So they should come to ministry. They mustn't be afraid at all. If you don't sow, you don't harvest. If you don't plant, you don't harvest. And between the sowing time and the harvesting time, you must endure some pain and hard work. That is what they are running away from. But if God has called you, you will never succeed anywhere until you come to follow Him. So they must put that at the back of their minds. We want this ministry to continue. We want the next generation to succeed. We have laid the foundation. They can come and build upon it.
Okay, Reverend. Thank you for your time. And once again, a happy 60th birthday to you. Enjoy your day. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to pour something small down. If I'm to tell the story, it will take days. But I think this one will suffice for now. Thank you. God bless you all.
This is the end of the program. It was brought to you by Faith Life TV, bringing Christ to your homes. My name is Justina Lynna Dadzie, and this show was brought to you by T. Franca Ventures, Tempting Taste, Meraford Constructions Limited, Smart Edge, Goodwill Express. Thank you and God bless you. Amen.